ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So here we find Lord Kapila is explaining, he is giving some preliminary introduction to yoga system, Sankhya yoga system, which is actually nothing but devotional service to the Lord. So he is saying yoga adhyatmikah pumsam mato nishreshaya me. First of all, yoga system has nothing to do with the welfare of body. Generally it's a misconception which people think yoga is meant for keeping the body healthy and fit, and once the body is healthy and fit, use it for sense enjoyment. That is a general perception. But here it is said, yoga adhyatmikaha. Yoga is actually meant for spiritual realization. It is pertaining to the soul. It is not pertaining to the body. It is not said here, it is pertaining, yoga is for the body. Yoga is for the soul. Yoga adhyatmikaha pumsam mato nishresaya me. And it is meant for the ultimate good of the living entity. Yoga is not meant for some immediate benefit. It is meant for our ultimate benefit. So in the Vedic scriptures, there are two very important terms. One, it is called preyas, another is called shreyas. Preya means those goods which are immediate good, but they are not our ultimate good. They are not meant for our ultimate benefit. Shreyas means those goods which are meant for our ultimate good, ultimate benefit. Those activities are called Shreya. So Prabhupada gives a very simple example for us to understand how do we know, what do we understand by these prayers and Shreyas. Material example. Say for example, child wants to play the whole day because he is very attached to prayas. Prayas means immediate benefit. Immediately I will be happy if I play. But parents are taking so much tension for his ultimate benefit. Ultimate means at least in this life. They are thinking about his future. No, he must go to the school. He should not be playing the whole day. That will spoil his future. So even though it is inconvenient for the child, he does not like going to the school. But in spite of that, the father puts him under a person who may be little strict with him and drag him to the school. Prabhupada gives his own example. Prabhupada says that when I was a child, I did not like to go to the school. And that time there were no school buses like this, that simply you put the child in the bus and then he is carried to the school. It was by foot, they used to walk. And Prabhupada would say that how his parent had put somebody who would drag him to the school, and Prabhupada would come running. So it's a fact. Similarly, we, just like the child, we want to enjoy material happiness. Sense gratification, sense enjoyment, that is called prayas. Just like the child wants to play without thinking about his future, similarly the living entities, they want to enjoy like animals. Just they want to gratify their senses so that I can get immediately some ananda, immediately some happiness I can get. My tongue likes taste, so we go to different restaurants. My eyes like different kinds of good sights, so we go for roaming around. Isn't it? All sense enjoyment, sense gratification. So, prayas is like this, and the Shreyas means just like the father puts a strong man to control the child so that his future can be taken care of. Similarly, the Vedic literatures, the devotees of the Lord, specifically the pure devotees of the Lord, who want to preach the glories of the Lord, they invite people, please come to the temple. People want to go for sense enjoyment, they want to waste their life in prayas, simply trying to enjoy their sense, just like the child. And just like the father puts a strong man, the devotees of the Lord, they take all kind of risk. And that is why it is required that devotees have to be very tolerant. Isn't it? Just like the child does not like. He is not very happy with that man. He is thinking, why is he dragging me to the school? He does not like. Isn't it? Similarly, the devotees take all kind of risk, understanding this is for their ultimate benefit. People may not like it. Swamiji, this is not the age of, you're chanting Hare Krishna, this is age for making money. Isn't it? People may think like this because they have no idea about their future. They have no idea about the value of human life. How much important this life is. After 84 lakh species of life, we get this human form of life. Is it meant simply to be wasted away? Just for eating, drinking, merrily, happily, enjoy, just leave this world like an animal? That is not human life, isn't it? People say like that. People think that friendship, love, family, society, all these are divinely bestowed upon us to enjoy. Actually, they are not divinely bestowed. They are meant for suffering, ultimately. It's very important to understand this, and people are not understanding. Prabhupada is explaining this very nicely. Here it is said, Dukkhasya cha, Sukhasya cha. One has to come out of material happiness as well as distress. Not just material happiness. We will think, okay, material distress I will try to get out. But why the Vedic literatures are saying you try to get out even of material happiness? Anyone? Why the Vedic literatures are saying even material happiness you don't try to enjoy? It is going to bind us to this material world. Okay, something, but very strong reason. It will not give us liberation. Rai Krishna? It is? Okay. It is followed by suffering. Every material happiness is followed by suffering, distress. This is law of material nature. When a son is born, we are very happy. But one day, when the son will leave us, when he dies, it is a cause of suffering. The same son which was cause of our happiness, the same child which is cause of our happiness, will become a cause of distress one day. This is called material happiness and material distress. It is followed by material happiness, is followed by material distress. When it was hot season, then we like to go and swim in cold water, cool, isn't it? But the same cold water becomes a distress when it is winter season, isn't it? The moment winter arrives and heavy cold, we don't like to go and take bath. Oh, want to sleep on the bed. Can't get out from the bed and take bath. Very difficult, isn't it? The same fan which gives so much nice pleasure when it is hot, when it is cold, it gives distress. Prabhupada was giving a class in America, just like we are seeing here in the conversation. Prabhupada is talking about that American civilization. So he was giving class, and so there Prabhupada, he hears some cracker sound. Some people, some kind of, something they would have got in their life or something. And generally people burst crackers to enjoy their happiness. It's an expression of their some kind of happiness which they get. So Prabhupada is saying, for some people it is happiness. They are enjoying. Nice. And they are bursting cracker. But for us it is inconvenient. Isn't it? Because Prabhupada is giving lecture, class is going on, and it is so much causing inconvenience. Sometimes we also find, right? We will be speaking here and so much of crackers will be bursting in Rayapur nearby, and they are happily enjoying, and we are put in distress. We are not able to conduct our program properly. People are not able to hear Krishna Katha. So much inconvenience in this cause. So it is relative in this material world. For some people something is happiness, and the same thing for other people it is distress. Thief, he has taken away money and he is very happy, booty. He's got a big booty of money. And the people whose things he has stolen, they are put under distress. This is material world. So the Vedic literature talks about that one has to get rid of both material happiness as well as distress. Because this is duality. In the material world, you cannot understand the value of happiness without distress. That is why there is happiness and distress. You cannot understand the value of happiness without distress. And you cannot understand the value of distress without happiness. It's a world of duality. But in the spiritual world, there is no duality. You don't require dukkha to understand sukha. Otherwise, that is how people say. They cannot understand. They say, Swamiji, what is there? If we have to enjoy, there will be distress. Otherwise, how can I be happy? Without being distressed, I cannot be happy. That is what they think. Because it's a fact. Here in the material world, you cannot understand the value of happiness without distress. You have to undergo distress, then you understand the value of happiness. But spiritual world is not like that. You don't require dukkha to be happy, to understand the value of happiness. And spiritual happiness, it is not obtained by these material senses. It is obtained by spiritual senses. In this material world, Prabhupada says, that is what the Vedic literature says, there are only two things. One is, everybody is seeking happiness and everybody is trying to get rid of distress. Only these two things are going on in this material world. That is what the Vedic literatures point out. Atyantika dukkha nivrati and sukham avapti. We are hunting after material happiness and everybody is struggling hard. This is called struggle of existence, struggle for existence. Trying to get happiness, trying to avoid miserable conditions of life. Hard struggle for existence in this material world. But spiritual life is, by nature it is ananda. You don't have to seek for happiness. Here, everybody is trying. But spiritual life means it is filled with happiness. And that is called Satyananda. Ramante yogino anante. The yogis, the happiness which they are after, that is not ananda of this material world which is obtained by material senses. It is obtained by spiritual senses in spiritual platform. And what kind of happiness that is? It is Satyananda, eternal happiness. Ananda, which is eternal, not obstructed by distress. And that is our real nature. That is the nature of the soul. Otherwise, why would we seek happiness? If that is not the nature of soul, why we want to avoid distress? If it was natural for us, let us imagine, we are saying it is all natural in this material world, then why are you so much distressed, so much unhappy when some kind of problem comes in your life? Why you want to get rid of it? If it was natural, you should not try to get rid of it. Why people are committing so much suicide? Yesterday I received one, in the WhatsApp one message. More number of people died in India from suicide out of distress in their life than the corona. Can you imagine? We are so much talking about corona, corona, corona. Nobody is talking about how many people are dissatisfied in their life and they are committing suicide. See, this is material happiness, material distress. So here, Kapila Dev is saying that yoga is considered to be the topmost yoga, which will make you detached from material happiness and distress, both together, and which is not meant for just some bodily comfort, which is meant for uniting the soul to the super soul. It is adhyatmika. It is not dehika. It is not pertaining to the material body. It is pertaining to the spirit soul. So, yoga adhyatmika pumsam mato nishreshayame. And it is meant for the ultimate benefit. It is meant for the ultimate good. That yoga is the superior. It is the ultimate yoga, topmost yoga. And dukkham cha sukham cha. And we become detached both from dukkha and sukha of this material world. So I'll read this very beautiful purport which Prabhupada has written. In the material world, everyone is trying to get some material happiness. But as soon as we get some material happiness, there is also material distress. In the material world, one cannot have unadulterated happiness, always mixed with distress. Always mixed with distress. That is material world. Any kind of happiness is contaminated by distress. Prabhupada is giving the example. You want to drink milk, but then you have to take a lot of botheration to maintain a cow. So much distress you have to take to become materially happy. Even materially rich, when people want to enjoy life by money and comforts of life, how much distress they have to take of earning money. It's not easy to earn money like this, isn't it? You have to, keep your money safe from government by not paying taxes and so many things. Otherwise, how you can earn money? Otherwise, government itself will take 30% away, whatever you are earning. Isn't it? This tax, that tax, and so many tax. First of all, on commodities there is tax, and then the income also there is tax. On profit there is tax. So how much trouble people have to take to earn money? Isn't it? So that is the nature of this material world. Drinking milk is very nice. It is also pleasure, but for the sake of drinking milk, one has to accept so much trouble. Yoga system, as stated here by the Lord, is meant to end all material happiness and distress. So yoga system is meant to end even the material happiness. So that does not mean no happiness, spiritual happiness. That happiness which is not bound by material conditions, which has no beginning, no end. It is eternal. The best yoga, as taught in Bhagavad Gita, is Bhakti Yoga. It is also mentioned in the Gita. One should try to be tolerant and not be disturbed by material happiness or distress. And this is the secret. What one should do? Because now we are saying, okay, yoga will take me out of material happiness and distress. But in the meantime, what should I do? I am not a realized soul at the present moment. What should I do? So, we have to maintain, we have to be equal in both distress and happiness. When material happiness comes, we should not be so jubilant that we are flying in the sky and we have no feet on the ground. Then we will fall flat, isn't it? And when material distress comes, we should not be so much bogged down by it that we cannot stand up. We have to tolerate both material happiness and distress. That is the secret which is given in Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna says, anybody who tolerates this and is equal in both material happiness and distress, Sah Amratvaya Kalpate. He will gradually move towards eternal life. So that is called tapasya. Tapasya means inconveniences will be there in life. We have to tolerate those inconveniences. So we'll stop with this. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki